welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading. And what that is you, the viewer, get to go through and choose from one of 3 tarot decks, and we'll go through and do a quick spread to see what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not need to be the week of July 3rd through July 10th, 2021 in order for the messages to resonate. If you come across this reading at any time, there may be little nuggets of messages contained for you. That said, I just have a few quick announcements and then we'll get started. If you ever want to jump straight to your reading, the timestamps are listed in the description box, as are the names and the authors of all the materials that I use. So I wanted to kind of touch on it. I always choose a deck with you. And last week, I usually like to choose the second deck, like that's like my number, you know, maybe it's because I'm Libra and I like everything in pairs. But last week I chose a deck with you and I chose the middle deck. I chose deck number 2. And it's funny, you know, there was some pretty heavy energies in that reading last week where we saw things like the 10 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles, all the you know, as you know on this channel, there are no bad cards in tarot. It's how you interpret it, right? And of course, you know, I kind of looked at it like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a rough week, right? But it's amazing how when I look back on the reading after the week has elapsed, that I can kind of see the imagery anew. So anytime, you know, we have a saying in card reading, we always say, take what resonates and leave the rest. But it's amazing how when I look back on the week, you know, sometimes looking back on a week that has like the 10 of Swords in it, it really made me think, you know, it's very interpretable and it's almost like you understand it better looking back after the week has already gone by. And it's funny, the 10 of Swords is normally, as you know, a little bit of a stabbed in the back card, but it turned out for me that it was true, but I was helping someone who felt that way. So it wasn't just me that was in the energy, it was someone else. So the energy really do resonate a lot. But again, you know, if you feel like, you know, a lot of card reading, when you see a kind of a toughy card, you think, okay, this is going to be a rough week. And again, I pick a deck with you, and it wasn't that bad. And it really was. It's interesting how the 10 of Swords also kind of talks about feeling like it's a little bit of a martyr card. It's a little bit like, okay, look, I have 10 swords in my back. Oh, woe is me. And what it was is that, again, the way that I saw that energy kind of manifest is that it did manifest as the 10 of Swords, but it wasn't really my energy. I was helping someone who felt that way. So that's really interesting. It's interesting how it goes. And again, I always say, here on my channel, I have an entire video series called The How to Tarot, where we go in detail. We talk about all the little nuances that each of the 78 card tarot, you know, each card in the tarot means. So if you feel like a card is kind of scaring you or kind of standing out as prominent energy, please feel free to check out the How to Tarot that corresponds to that card, because sometimes it you know, what you think them is not what you think them is, right? You know, just like I saw the 10 of Swords and thought, oh gosh, you know, someone's gonna stab me in the back, and it wasn't like that at all. But also, if you feel like the message isn't resonating, you don't have to take it. You can leave it by the wayside. So that's, you know, that's how it works, right? Now, I don't know if you can hear it. It's raining outside, and it's beautiful music, and my windows are a little thin, so I'm actually smelling that beautiful, you know, rainy night smell. It's so awesome. Summer rain. I'm in North America, so it's nice and it's very hot. And it's so funny growing up, when I was a teenager, and I'm totally dating myself right now, but when I was a teenager, I actually have the CD still to this day. When you would walk into like Walmart or Target, they always had those displays of all the music CDs that were like the tranquil music that you hear playing in day spas. And there was a great album called Piano Rain. And I had that CD when I was a teenager, and then I gave the CD away, and then I found it again on eBay. And I actually have it in my player right now. So on nights when it's not raining, I put on Piano Rain, but I don't have to put on Piano Rain tonight because it's already raining. Okay, sorry guys, but it's lovely background music. It's so tranquil. And today was a crazy day. Today was a really crazy day. I'm still recovering. I know it's been a week. Still recovering from a lot of the ailments from that I talked about last week, and then today was more of that, and then it culminated with the power going out for a little while today. So it's been a day, but sorry to ramble on, but we're gonna do this, right? We're gonna. Sorry, guys. You can clearly see I'm trying to pull myself together here. We're gonna go ahead and get your read. I was really drawn to do the reading tonight. I like to stay on schedule even if I'm feeling low energy. And if you follow my channel, which thank you so much to my subscribers, you know that the moment I get into reading your cards, my energy comes back. It's like I'm channeling you guys. But okay, enough blabbing. And again, anytime if you want to skip over any blabbing that I do, always click on the timestamps. That's your fast pass. You can click on deck descriptions or pick a deck and pick a pile, and that will take you right to your read. But as per the norm, we're going to keep all of our decks in rotation. We have 3 decks here that we haven't seen in a little while. The first deck is the Anna Kay Tarot, which is such a gorgeous deck. It's a real good starter deck if you're interested in tarot or learning tarot. And on top of it, we have a beautiful smoky quartz. The second deck is the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes. And on top of it, we have a beautiful Jasper Eagle. And I love this guy. He can sit this way or he can sit that way. I'm sorry, I'm easily entertained. And he vibes with his deck, you know. And I always think of that Seal song, you know, fly like an eagle to the sea. All right, enough of that. Sorry, I'm not going to sing at you. Sorry, guys. Last deck. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. Again, it's been a long day. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm holding it together. Last deck, we've got the Morgan Greer Tarot, my beloved Morgan Greer. This is the second deck that I got for tarot, but it's the formal deck that I learned on. And on top of it, we have a beautiful piece of sea glass. And this was actually gifted to me, so that makes it so special. Now, as you know, I always listen to what my Rice Krispies tell me to do, and my Rice Krispies are telling me that the clarifying deck that I wanted to use is always an oracle deck, and today we are using the Jane Austen tarot deck. And the funny thing is it says it's a tarot deck, but it's not really a tarot. Tarot decks have 78 cards. This has 53 cards, and it's like a hybrid kind of oracle. It's a little bit more of a Lenormand, honestly, because it has like the Lenormand numbers, but then it has a little bit of crossover. If you ever want to see like the official walkthrough for this deck, I do have a Jane Austen deck collection video here on my channel. Check that out if you're interested in it, but it's not a formal tarot deck. It is more like an oracle deck that has like a crossover kind of Lenormand feel to it. And on top of it, we have a beautiful kind of orangish jasper stone that just pairs really beautiful. But alright guys, I will go ahead and let you choose your pile. Vanna hands. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and move this up. I am so digging that the rain on my windowsill. I swear I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight, and that's awesome. You know, and you know when that smell of rain kind of comes through the window, like you smell rain, it just smells so good. All right, so deck number 1. I'm gonna give it a very quick shuffle. And again, here I will get up to speed, guys. I'm sorry, I'm holding it together this week. Ugh. Holding it together this month, and the month just began. Today's the 1st, right? Yes. Okay. All right. So our beautiful Anna Kay deck, Smoky Quartz, deck number 1. What's your energy for the week? Deck number 1. Please tell me what's deck number 1's. Ooh. Oh God, it's like in the intro I talked about how last week the middle deck I picked the deck with you, and we got the Ten of Swords. please clarify, as we always do. Please clarify the Ten of Swords. Okay, please clarify. I am drawn to pull this. One more. Thank you. You saw that, right? You saw that, right? Okay, middle of the deck, middle of the week. Okay, please clarify. I am drawn to keep all of these cards here, guys, and I promise it won't take long. And end of the week, please. Wow, that's really powerful energy. That's really powerful energy. I'm digging this, guys. Also, if you are in not just North America, but in the U.S., the beginning of the week is going to be covering a holiday. It's going to be the 4th of July. Wow, that popped right out, and it popped right out over this. And you got the King of Diamonds. Okay. All right. One other thing, guys, I'm going to mention this in each one of the piles. I've seen other readers put timestamps for the shuffling and then timestamps when it jumps straight to the reading part. If you want me to do that, please drop me a comment. I'm just trying to get a feel as to whether or not the shuffling part takes too much time. I know sometimes you want to get your reading and go. So please let me know if this is like, you know, if that's important to you, where I can put one timestamp. You know, some folks like to see the shuffling part because it's like part of the energy, like I'm channeling you, feeling you, and then pulling your cards. And some folks want to get cut straight to the chase. So, you know, if that's important to you, leave a comment, and I'll do that. But wow, guys, this is very, very clear, and you've got two majors, and they're kind of like bookends. Anytime I see a lineup like this, I always think of like the stem of a flower. I think of the root, the stem, and the bloom. So the outward energy is here, but how you got to that energy is this right here. Now, and this is starting over the weekend. So again, if you're in the United States, this might be over the 4th of July, like the actual holiday. And then the Monday is if you have a day off from work. What I'm seeing here is that this is really sensitive energy, guys. What I'm seeing is that I see you being really strong. I see you being really strong. It's almost like you're walking away from a painful situation. I kind of read this one of two ways. I feel like you're being really emotionally strong, because the Strength card is really about like taming your base desires. I kind of see this as a card, you know, Strength really is about, you know how if someone does something to you that upsets you, right? But you're a mature adult and you're not gonna, like, you know, someone makes you mad, you're not gonna, like, you know, you're not going to fly off the handle because you know how to handle your emotions. That's what I'm kind of seeing here, guys. I'm kind of seeing like someone might have done something to try to either pin you down, or someone might have done something that was really hurtful to you. And what I'm getting with the Queen of Cups is I get the sense that you're a real emotionally mature person. You see this woman kind of putting her feet in the water, and you see how in tune she is. And wow, we're getting more of those stars again. If you caught last week's reading, there was a lot of cards that showed kind of like the dippers in the sky. And in last week's reading, I talked about the way that as the seasons change, the dippers in the sky actually dip. They kind of turn. That's why they get called the dippers, is because it's a lineup of stars that look like a ladle, and as the seasons change, it looks like the stars, you know, like the ladle is actually like rotating in the sky. And that's what I'm kind of seeing here. Now, what I'm getting here, this is actually one of the most positive Ten of Swords cards that I've ever seen. It is still really bloody, but what you see is you see someone who's standing up, and walking away, right? They're not staying pinned down to the ground. If some kind of betrayal happened, or if you feel like someone's taken advantage of you, or if you feel like someone's done you dirty, you're not going to stay just pinned to the ground and bleeding. You're going to stand up and you're going to walk away from that situation or from those feelings. But I feel like you're doing this with a lot of grace. The other thing is that I am kind of getting a sense that it's almost like you're kind of hiding these emotions under the surface. I'm getting a strong sense that maybe something that has happened recently that, and again, with the Ten of Swords being the outward expression, and this being how you got there, I'm really wondering if something happened to you recently that you're really just rising above something that occurred recently. And maybe this has to do, what I'm really getting a strong sense of is, you know how sometimes, especially around the holidays, and it's so interesting, in astrology, the Christmas time, or, Yule time is right around Capricorn, right? And then 4th of July, or Independence Day in the United States, is right around Cancer season. And those two signs are opposite on the spectrum. And Cancer really rules mother, and Capricorn really rules kind of father, kind of like that role in the world, kind of colder energy. But what I'm really getting a sense here is like, I'm getting, the thing about 4th of July is that just like Christmas, it's a pretty big holiday. Like, you see folks really make a big deal about it. Like, okay, think about it. Like, if you are putting in a request to take a holiday off, what are the two biggest holidays that people take? Right? Is it Easter? Not so much. Is it Memorial Day? Nah. Is it 4th of July? Oh, heck to the yeah. And Christmas, sometimes Thanksgiving. We'll throw, I really think Thanksgiving probably comes in third, right? Because that holiday is really important to people. People gather to cook, which is always a good thing. But 4th of July and Christmas, that tends to be the big deal, Holyfield, right? And what I'm kind of getting here is that I think maybe you have to put on some kind of public persona. But I'm not saying that you're acting in any way, but you know how just like Christmas, if say for instance something goes down, like maybe you broke up with someone, or you got divorced, or it doesn't even have to be relationship related. Maybe you had a knockdown, drag out fight with your cousin Sally, and then all of a sudden, okay, we're both going to be there at Christmas dinner, we're both going to that 4th of July party, I'm going to have to see this person, right? That's the kind of vibe I'm getting here. And this can be like a friendship thing too. Maybe you feel like someone kind of screwed you over, but then you have to see this person at some kind of event over the weekend. But what I'm seeing with this Ten of Swords is that I see very clearly that you're not letting whatever happened get to you. I think everybody saw what happened. Everybody knew what happened, because I think that's the other part about this. That's the one part that's kind of shitty. Pardon my French. I think I'm allowed to say that. About the Ten of Swords is because swords are thoughts and swords are like social media. So the Ten of Swords, the other thing about it is that if someone kind of like took you out at the knees, it's probably public knowledge. But what I'm seeing here is that you're not staying in this cold wasteland, pinned to the ground and bleeding. And I think you're showing that over the weekend. And by showing that, you're saying, I'm a mature person. Someone, stabbed me in the back, but guess what? They did what they did. I'm not staying pinned to the floor. I'm pulling the swords out. I'm standing up, and I'm walking away from the snow, and I'm going someplace warm. That's what I really see. The other thing is that the Queen of Cups is a very, She's a very sweet, emotional person. She's a very sweet, emotional person. Like she understands her feelings, and definitely, if you ever get a chance to check out the How to Tarot on the Queen of Cups. But what I'm kind of getting here is the Queen of Cups would probably be the one person to understand, like if someone did the Queen of Cups dirty, she would forgive that person and she would move on with her life. And she would understand. It's almost like she would understand that this person did what they did because they were flawed. Like she knows she's the feminine mature of this suit. And with this strength, I think you are angry, you are upset, you don't want to have to be seen in public with someone who either humiliated you or did something underhanded, but you're not going to let your base desires overcome your emotional reasoning. You're going to understand why this happened, but you are publicly going to walk away from whatever was hurting you. And my thing is that you're going to do it with a lot of dignity. You're going to do it with a lot of dignity. And it's almost like, I can just say it this way. If you've ever had someone, and again, in the intro, I talked about how last week I picked pile number 2, which was the Line Strider Tarot. And I had the Ten of Swords in the same position. It was the top position. Or, I'm sorry, it was in the bottom, and the top was the Two of Pentacles. But it's almost like... and remember how I said I got all nervous going into the week, and that's really not the... I get wary of that because that's not the purpose of tarot readings. Just because you got some scary cards doesn't mean that you're going to have that something's going to blindside you or something bad's going to happen to you. It's not like that at all. And of course, if you think that, you can let that meaning go. Like don't take the reading if you feel like it's going to make you nervous going into the week. I'm real adamant about that. And I picked the same pile with you, so I was right in the same boat. But what you see with the Ten of Swords is this could be you, where everybody's looking at you and knows what happened. Like there's no covering up what happened, but it is also very clear that you're not, this person, this is a cool Ten of Swords card because this person took the swords out of their back and they walked away. The other way I kind of read this too is that, again, the Ten of Swords can be a little bit of an exaggeration card. Because think about it, if someone was really stabbed with 10 swords, would they be able to stand up and walk away? So one other way I can kind of read this, just to throw it out there, you might be kind of emotionally supporting someone who feels like they were stabbed in the back. Like someone in the beginning of the week might be over exaggerating a little bit. So that is one way we can read this. Maybe over the weekend, you're being the emotional shoulder to cry on for someone who really feels like they were done dirty. So, and again, it being 4th of July weekend, this could be a family member, it could be someone that you know. Otherwise, this could be something that happened to you that everybody's kind of aware of, but you're making it very publicly known that this did not kill you, right? This did not kill you. It hurt like hell, but it didn't kill you. And it's almost like you're using the holiday weekend or this time to kind of show, I'm not fazed. I'm getting back off the ground and I'm walking away. But I get the sense like everybody knows what happened, but you're being really strong. You're being really strong. I do see this kind of in those situations where something might have happened that was humiliating in kind of a public sphere. Like really, like you really do feel like you were, like seriously, I'm hearing made an example of, which is really crappy. But again, you had the dignity, you had the emotional maturity. The other thing I kind of get is if someone did this, that person who did this to you probably looks like the villain. and you're being real strong and standing up and walking away from that, and you're doing that publicly, over the weekend. Now, I just want to be clear, this, whatever happened really did hurt you. It affected you. You see how that lion is growling? It's like, if you were listening, and doesn't this look like the same woman, if you were not a spiritually evolved person, you might want revenge. But you are a spiritually evolved person, so you're not going to stoop to that. You're going to control your emotions, even though it hurt, because you're the Queen of Cups, right? Either that, or you're offering that to support to someone who's had something. Maybe you had a good friend who got, publicly broken up with, or, someone really got humiliated. And the other thing I can kind of see this is maybe you're being an emotional support to that person, But that would be kind of over the weekend and into the beginning of the week. Now, the middle of the week, this is really beautiful energy. And again, I was drawn to take all these cards together. But middle of the week, you got the Nine of Cups. And that's awesome, guys. And I love this rendition because normally the Nine of Cups is the guy sitting in front of the table with the 9 cups behind him. And here you actually see kind of like a party thing, party atmosphere. And so what I'm kind of seeing here is, just one other thing. If you are, assign the genders as they resonate, because it's energies here. We don't say male, female. I say girl, boy, just for clarification, but, assign the genders as they resonate. One other way I can kind of see this is that it's possible over the weekend, if you're a guy or identify as masculine, you might have felt pain at the from a Queen of Cups character. That's really kind of hard to that's a little hard for me to comprehend, because the Queen of Cups is such a gentle spirit. She's very, very sweet, but that's entirely possible. Because the one other way that I can kind of read that is like, when you see the King of Cups come up in a read, he's like that emotional husband to someone, right? So the same thing goes with the Queen of Cups, and where the Ten of Swords can kind of come out of that, this sweet loving card, is where maybe you had your eye on someone that you really wanted to. If you're a guy, you had this eye on this woman, and it turns out that she's emotionally faithful to something else or someone else, and that can definitely bring on a Ten of Swords kind of feeling, because it's like, oh wow, this is someone else's wife, right? Because that's how readers read it in a reverse. If this were the King of Cups, it'd be like, okay, wow, he's emotionally committed to someone else, and it ain't me, and that would bring on the pain. Right? So that's just one other way to read it, just to throw it out there. So take it as it resonates. But middle of the week, this is beautiful energy. The Nine of Cups is really about wish fulfillment. It's about wish fulfillment. And you see how all these cups have flowers. I really get the sense like the outward expression is the Nine of Cups. So I really get the sense like in the middle of the week, something that you kind of orchestrated, something that you've really had like a plan for, and actually something that you've been kind of working towards, like financially, you've really been making strides, is actually bringing a little bit of boons for you. And this could be family related. Now, one way that I can kind of tie this energy in is that maybe if you have been kind of dealing, again, over the 4th of July weekend, maybe you're hanging out with friends, maybe you're hanging out with family. If you have been kind of going through kind of a rough emotional time there, your family might really be kind of offering you some distraction while you get back on your feet. Because these 3 cards, you've got a king, you've got a knight, and you've got a page. So that really talks about like mental planning, taking slow, steady steps, actual action, like to earn money. But this is real slow moving energy. And then the Page of Rods is like excitement. It's almost like you have big ideas, right? You have big ideas. So maybe in the middle of the week, you're planning your next moves, you're taking slow steady steps to get to that, and you're getting excited about like you're getting excited about the future, the things that you want to do. um, and then while you're doing that, you might be spending time with either family or friends. There might be some kind of an event. The Nine of Cups really is kind of like an awards ceremony too. You might be getting like a lot of um, positive kind of. Honestly, guys, I am the one way I can kind of read this is because there's like a king, a knight, and a page here. This could be some kind of family event. This could be some kind of family event that you're. I really get the sense it's in person. Maybe you're going over to somebody's house in the middle of the week, or you just come over to visit. And while you're there, you might be there with a masculine kind of father figure. It could be an uncle, or it could be your father, or someone, more of a teenager or early 20s person, and then a young one. Now, if this can also be a sign that maybe you just have a really fun night with your family. This could be your husband and two children, and it doesn't necessarily have to be male. It could be female. Um, with the Knight of Pentacles, I am getting kind of a male feeling here. But maybe you have a game night, or I am kind of getting like a feeling like you're doing something kind of fun. You're doing something kind of fun. It could be at home, but there's something, and either that, or if maybe you go over to a friend's house, and again, this kind of energy here, maybe you were invited over to someone's house, and you're getting a chance to check in with each of their family members. The other vibe that I kind of get here is we do have three different elements, like completely different elements. So we have the air suit, we have the pentacle suit, and the wand suit. So again, you know how when you go over to your friend's house, like, how everybody's like a different personality. Like when I go over to my best friend's house, it is so like that. Like she has three boys, and all three of them are different personalities, like completely different personalities. And her husband's a different personality too. And maybe you in the middle of the week you kind of get exposed to that. Like you get to spend time with someone, and you're just kind of seeing, okay, this person loves to play card games, and they're so good. Or maybe you're watching Jeopardy or something like that, and then you talk to so and so's older son, and he's working a part-time job, and he's saving all his money, and he's got big dreams, right? And then their little one runs in and is going, I've been to summer camp, did you want to see me? The other thing I kind of get with this is that you might see someone kind of running around, like maybe running around the yard or something. The other thing I kind of sense, like there might be music, or maybe you're talking about music or listening to music, because it seems like everybody really wants to dance. That's really cool though, guys. If this is just your energy, it's almost like you're getting like a game plan. You're planning your movements, deciding how you're going to save money, and you're getting excited about the ideas that you have. But I am almost getting like a feeling like you know, this is more of a being around people. I am getting like a being around people. And it's so funny. I did spend time with my best friend recently, and her littlest one. He was so cute. He was kind of like this little page of rods. He was just bouncing around, and he was running around the room. And we actually played a card game. It's so cute. It's a little. What is it at Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A, the like the Happy Meals or the kids meals, they give out games and books and stuff. It's very educational, and they had a little fish game. It was fish memory, and all the fish, so what it is, you flip over all the fish, and then what you do is like a memory game. If you turn over 2 fish of the same color, that's a match, and then you get to go again. But if you flip over 2 fish that aren't a match, then it's the next person's turn, and you just go back and forth until whomever has the most pairs wins. So it kind of felt like that, I'm kind of getting that kind of vibe, like, but I feel like you're going to be like in an environment where you're hanging out with people, and you're doing like what each person wants to do, right? By the end of the week, you got the Magician, and this is really great energy, guys. You see, I love this deck with the imagery. I think by the end of the week, you're really ready to manifest. I get the sense like you have all the elements. Yeah, we keep getting the 6 of Cups. Like, I get the sense like you're kind of dreaming about what your future. And again, I'm seeing that Dipper. Maybe you're going to be spending some time outside, like looking at the stars. But the 6 of Cups normally is a little bit of a reunion card. The other thing I get the sense is that I really think that you'll be around like trellises or flowers. I'm seeing a lot of like climbers, maybe you'll be in some kind of garden at night. But I get the sense like you're almost, you're dreaming, by the weekend, you're really ready to kind of move forward. The other thing I get is that I feel like a lot of optimism here, a lot of optimism about the future. One thing I kind of get is that whatever this event is here, I think you're going to get a lot of ideas about the future from the people that you talk to. I am getting a strong sense of like hanging out with people. And I think, how when you talk to people and they share their passions with you, like they share what they like to do, it inspires you. I think it also, what it's going to do is, if you have been feeling kind of 10 of Swords energy, like you've been feeling a little bit like you've hit rock bottom, by talking to other people, especially people of different ages, because isn't it amazing, like the dreams you have when you're a little one versus the dreams you have when you're like a 20-something and you've got all that ambition, versus someone who's real mature, who's, lived life a little while and kind of knows the realism that it brings. That combination gives a lot of wisdom, doesn't it? Gives a lot of wisdom. And you see how the Magician has all the elements on the table, right? And we talked about this being different elements, right? Oh, and look at this. We've got Cups, Swords, Pentacles, Wands. Ba-boom, ba-bam. I think by the end of the week, you're going to know, it's almost like you're going to feel like, okay, I've got everything on the table that I need to move forward. Right? Because that's what the Magician has. He's got all the elements on the table. He knows how to turn that into something, how to take that and get a start. And I do get a sense like you're inspired. It's like you have the emotional kind of knowledge, and then by being around people, they're gonna help you realize that you have everything that you need to move forward. Now, one other thing that I kind of get is by the end of the week, you might be a little spellbound by someone. That's one other way I can kind of read it, is that the Magician is a good talker, right? Is a good talker. So just one other way I can kind of read this is that maybe by the end of the week, you might be watching videos you might get like kind of inspiration to try new things, and you might be watching videos on how to do things, and you're getting even more inspired, by speakers who are really magnetic, like really influential. Maybe you actually attend a seminar or something like that. If this is your energy, you're just feeling like you're feeling optimistic. It's almost like you're daydreaming. You're feeling sentimental about where you can go next. Now, just one other way I can read this is that it could be quite possible that you are kind of getting a little entranced by someone that you've known from the past. Like, you know, this can, because you see, you see this person kind of staring up in the stars, and the Six of Cups is a reconciliation kind of card. And here you have the Magician who's kind of working his magic. So it could be quite possible that you're trying to manifest someone back in your life, that you're looking forward to that. Like, you're looking forward to a new beginning, or being able to, I'm hearing alchemy. Like, I'm also kind of hearing like changing one situation, like turning one situation into something new. But that's really good energy. The other thing that I can kind of get from this is that maybe, just to throw it out there, if you are talking to someone from your past, you might be really charming them with sentimental things. You know how, like, sometimes you get someone on the phone and you start talking about past memories, and it's just, you see how mesmerizing that is. The Magician's a good talker. He's a good, he gets you invested. I always think of those kind of those speakers that are either selling a product or talking about a philosophy. I think you've ever seen the channel here on YouTube, the TED Ed. I always get mesmerized by the people talking on those, because it's so informative. And but here with the Six of Cups underneath, it's almost like you're selling somebody on based on sentimental memories of something. And I know that sounds funny, but this kind of energy would be like if your ex is coming back around and being like, remember when we used to do this, and da, da, da. It could be that way again. We've got all this opportunity in front of us, and they're just, again, it's spellbinding. It's spellbinding. And look, she's just in a daze, looking up at the stars, like, yeah, that could happen. That could happen, right? So that could be either your energy towards someone else, or someone doing that to you. And this actually plays right into our Jane Austen card. This is great. You got Mr. Knightley. You got George Knightley. Few people know his first name is George. And he's the King of Diamonds. Okay, the King of Diamonds, which is the King of Pentacles. And here it says, King of Diamonds. Mr. Knightley is a mature character and Emma who gives wise advice and takes care of others. And this is great. And actually, if you've ever seen Emma, and there's a newer version of Emma that stars Anya Taylor-Joy. That is a good Emma. There is another Emma from the 90s that stars Gwyneth Paltrow. That one is very good as well. I like the Mr. Knightley in that one. But both movies are equally good. But Mr. Knightley is like the voice of reason. And that's what I really loved about his character, is that he never, Emma was a little bit flighty, and she could kind of get away with murder, and he always called her on her crap. And I kind of like that. Like, I think he is the one Austen hero that would call her on her crap. Like, if she did something out of line, he would tell her. And it was great. The other thing that I kind of get from this is that they were, the other thing about this story is that he seemed like he made it look like they were opposite personalities, but really they were perfect for each other. Like, she really got him to lighten up, and he really got her to be, more anchored, to be more steady. And that is a King of Pentacles kind of thing. So, with this energy, if you are not seeing someone, just because it is the King of Pentacles, this could be a male figure that's kind of prominent this week. Kind of like a Mr. Knightley character. And if you get a chance to catch it, I think you can still watch that movie on cable. I'm sorry, that sounds so antiquated. Everyone streams now, I know. Sorry, I know. But this is going to be, the Mr. Knightley character is going to be kind of the energy this week. And that could be a real person. So this could be a male in your life. It seems more romantic than partner than a father figure. Or If it's not a real person, it's the energy of your week. Like you, like again, you're staying anchored. All this energy here. You're staying. Whatever happens to you, you're not going to let it shake you, right? You're going to stay mature with it. And honestly, that happened a lot in the Emma story too. She had several stuff happen. She had a few moments that really took her down a peg publicly. And she was able to bounce back from it, right? So that might be a good movie to watch if you're interested. But I do get a sense like you're going to be hanging out with a family, either your family or a friend's family, and that middle of the week is really beautiful, guys. But wow, that's a really good week. I'm really happy for you, Deck One, because that's a nice reading. I like that. All right, so deck number 2, we've got the beautiful Jasper Eagle and the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes. Okay, so this is the beginning of the week. Okay. Middle of the week. Wow, that 10 of Swords is just not going away. And we've got 10-10. Holy Toledo. Okay. End of the week. Oh my gosh, we get the Emperor and the Empress. Okay, please clarify. Seven of Wands. Wow, we really got... This is interesting, guys. I'm really curious what your card's going to be. Deck number 2. Okay, you got the 8 of Cups. Yeah, 8 of Cups. Wow, and that's walking away. And again, this is like an oracle. This is a weird deck. It's like half oracle, sort of with a few tarot elements, but mostly in Lenormand. It's kind of a weird. But wow, guys. Okay, there are no bad cards in tarot, so I want to make that real clear, real clear. But I'm seeing a lot of we're seeing a lot of divine counterpart energy, and I'm careful when I throw that phrase around. That sorry, I was watching The Music Man. Watch your phraseology, young woman. I don't like to use that phraseology. But when you see the 4 of Wands, what you see is you see 2 pillars. It's like twin flames, like they call them the dual mirrors, right? It's mirroring 2 people mirroring one another. And what I'm kind of seeing here is that in the beginning of the week, and this is starting over the weekend, so this could be, I'm just going to get a sip of water here, guys, sorry. Thank you. But if you're in the United States, this weekend, over the weekend, is the 4th of July holiday, and then Monday is the federal holiday, so it's the day off to celebrate the weekend. So what I'm kind of seeing here is that over the weekend, I can kind of see this one of 2 ways. One of 3 ways. We'll read it all the ways. I see that you're going to have some kind of masculine, and this could be a father, it can be a husband, it can be the father of your children, really bring forth some kind of truth to you. If this is your energy, then you're going to be really in your power, like you're going to be acting as the emperor, like there's just like the Empress embodies all 4 queens, the emperor embodies all 4 kings. Like there's no higher masculine authority than the emperor, right? He's the ruler of kings, and he has the practicality of the practicality and the wealth of the King of Pentacles. He has the mental strategy and prowess of the King of Swords. He's got the action taking and drive and passion of the King of Wands, and then he has the heart and the emotional depth of the King of Cups. So I really get the sense that in the beginning of the week, you know what I am almost getting? I am almost getting like some kind of either boss figure or father figure is going to be bringing some kind of truth to you. Or you're going to see some kind of truth revealed. Like something is going to really gonna kind of the Ace of Swords is really epiphany energy. It's like, oh my gosh, sometimes when you've been stuck in the same place for so long and then all of a sudden the solution just comes to you and it's like everything is wide open, right? Like mentally it's like, oh gosh, okay, why didn't I do that a million years ago, right? It's just I can you ever heard the song I can see clearly now the rain is gone? I can see clearly now the rain is gone. That's kind of like the Ace of Swords. It's like the clouds parting, the rays of God coming down, like, oh, like here's the solution, right? So if you've had some kind of issue going on, you might have either a boss figure or a father figure give you the solution, like actually come up and say, hey, this is what's going on. Also, you might have a boss reveal something to you. If this is your energy, you are revealing something to someone else, or you're coming to a decision about something. You're the Ace of Swords really is kind of like a come into Jesus meeting. It really is like it's airing everything out. It's saying, okay, this is what's going on. Now, if you are a feminine, this could very well mean that you learn the truth about what's been going on with a masculine in your life. And that could be a father, that could be someone that you see as your divine counterpart, because I'm definitely getting divine counterpart energy here. This is your person, your lobster, right? So this person might actually kind of reveal something to you over the weekend, like over the 4th of July weekend. Either that or some kind of clarity. You gain some kind of clarity about this person. Now, or again, in your energy, you just, sometimes this can be you acting as the emperor and just knowing that, okay, this is the action I'm going to take. This is my path forward. This is what I need to do. But I know the Ace of Swords is so, it's hard to describe because it really is like, it's hard to put an example on it, I've had Ace of Swords moments just on a rainy Tuesday. Like I've had Ace of Swords moments when you're not even expecting it. It's almost like you've been thinking about a problem or thinking about a relationship and just wondering, well, you've been going in the same circle and never finding like closure or never finding a solution or never understanding why. And then all of a sudden you get quiet in your head and then the solution comes to you. It's like, mind blown, like, oh my gosh, that's why that person was doing this. Or you just run across a train of thought, that really, but I do get the sense, I am kind of feeling like this is two different people. Now, one other way that I can kind of read this is if it's not a boss kind of revealing something to you, because it could be a boss telling you something that's going on, or it could be your energy where you're really coming to a decision about something, like something, just some kind of solution or clarity has come to you and you're ready to take action, you're ready to rule, you're ready to do what you need to do, at almost masculine, like yang energy, like you're ready to be assertive. The last way I can kind of read this is that you might, my train of thought derailed. Sorry guys. Oh, yes. This could be a father figure, like a father figure giving you some kind of news, right? It can be a father figure that's giving you some kind of news. So you might hear something, but whatever this news is, it's clarity, right? It's clearing up a situation. Maybe you've been waiting to get some kind of news about something. Sometimes I really see that the Ace of Swords as being like that. We've been waiting for instructions, right? Like maybe some kind of project has been held up by, we've been waiting to hear what we're going to do, or, but a lot of times with it being the ace, it's usually some kind of situation where things were murky, right? Like you didn't know what was going on, you didn't know the status, and then all of a sudden again, okay, sorry for the radio silence, this is what's been going on, this is what we're going to do. But I get a strong sense of action with it. It's almost like you're being told, this is what's happening, this is what's been going on behind the scenes, sorry to keep you in the dark, now you know, but this is what we're doing moving forward, right? And this could definitely be like a work thing. Like if someone says, oh, we've acquired this other company, this is our 12-month plan, this is what we need to do, that can be the Emperor's energy as well. But it could be a father figure. It could be a father figure that's like, giving you the skinning, giving you the down low, what's going on and what's happening moving forward. Now, middle of the week, you got 2 10s. And this is wild, guys. This is wild. You're going from an Ace of Swords to the 3 of Wands. So it's almost like in the middle of the week. And that's a 2, right? 2 10s. 10s are the end of a cycle. 10s are wrapping it all up, right? And you did get the 10 of Swords and you got the 10 of Wands. So what I am seeing here, and also, I'll get into that. Sorry, guys. So the root of this energy, so you're working really hard. You're taking on more than the lion's share. The other thing is in these cards, you see these little envelopes, like you see envelopes. I'm really starting to get the feeling in here in the 3 of Wands. So we've got little messages, and swords can be messages too. Just to throw it out there, you could possibly get some kind of notification from a boss, like over the holiday. Again, if you're in the United States, Monday's a holiday, but then you come back to work on Tuesday and your ass gets slammed, right? Like your boss says, "Oh, we're doing this. Come back on Monday. We're gonna get," it's like, it can be that kind of energy, but because all these little messages, it almost seems like emails. Or communications, but you don't see those letters don't start showing up in the read until the middle of the week, and that really tells me that maybe over the weekend and Monday you're not at work, right? One other way I can kind of see this too is that if you do have some kind of plans that you're putting into motion, you might have this going on in like your personal life, and then by the middle of the week when you get back to work, it's just so much, you got so much going on. You got to deal with work, you got to deal with this new action that you're taking. Or if these are parents, and we'll get into that. I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over. I don't mean to give you so many scenarios, but the 4 of Wands definitely talks about, the 4 of Wands talks about marriage. It does talk about divine counterparts, like husband, wife, divine masculine, divine feminine. But what I'm seeing here is you've got the Fool, which is, it's like, taking a new start, right? Taking a new start in a new direction, right? And you see with these wands, you see everybody being on the same page, right? You see everyone being on the same page. But then above it, you see all this work, and, you see someone being kind of stabbed in the back there, the 10 of Swords. What I'm kind of getting here is, again, this could be a boss that's directing you to take action, or this could be a father that's directing you. Now, the 4 of Wands can be the sign of a house. It can be the sign of a house, like the 4 cornerstones of foundation. So maybe there's some kind of clarity that's coming about, regarding a home or a marriage, and you're taking action to get that started. Like you're closing up a cycle with either, you're really ready to get started. I'm getting a real vibe, guys, like it's almost, what I'm kind of getting with the Emperor and the Empress and the cornerstone? It's almost like you're wrapping up one cycle so you can start another, but there's some kind of like a lot of work, or there's some kind of a lot of communication that has to be done. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe one person feels a little screwed out of the deal. Like, I know that sounds funny. Like, you know, I honestly get the feeling like it's your energy. Like, you feel like you're doing all the work. Not to sound funny, but to put it out there, if you are if you've been wrapping up one relationship to start another one, like maybe you're finishing up like a divorce, and I know that sounds weird for like a weekly energy, but really the tens are really like being at the last, that's wrapping up a cycle. That's like the last things that you need to do, and then that cycle's done, right? I get almost the feeling like you're saying, I'm telling you, you're calling your ex and saying, we're broken up, we're done. If we have shared property together, we're gonna sell the property. You get your half, I get my half, and I am moving on with my life. Right, moving on. You're ready to get started with your new life, and you're being real firm about it. You're saying, this is what I'm doing, right? But it's almost like in the middle of the week, wrapping up that cycle is gonna, have you ever, when you're working out or when you're hiking, and that last mile, that last push to get anything done? That's the vibe I'm getting here. And I'm seeing a lot of envelopes, so I get the sense like you have to really communicate with someone. The other thing that I get is that I get the feeling like you almost have to compensate a little bit, but you're still in emperor energy, like you're still in full energy. It's almost like what you're looking forward to is so good and so what you want, that you're willing to finish up all this crap, right? The other thing I kind of see here is that this Ten of Wands is very interesting, because he's holding Six of the Wands, and Four of the Wands are still on the ground, like he's trying to pick up more but can't, right? He's got too much on his plate. And you see how these four wands are the same four wands of the, that's what I'm really getting, guys. I get the sense like you have to finish up, something in order to get started for what you want. It's almost like you have to put these six rods down in order to have the four that are yours, right? The other thing I get is that you see how this person is still going, even though they got 10 swords in their back. Yeah, guys, I am really getting the feeling, you know what I get from both of these cards? You're really burdened, you're really tired, but you're going to keep going, like, have you ever seen those movies, like maybe I'm thinking Terminator, or those movies where the person takes a bullet and they keep walking, and they take another bullet and they keep walking, they take another one. You're undaunted. You're going to continue to keep walking. You don't care how many, but I am kind of getting like, to wrap up this cycle is going to take a little bit of sacrifice. I get that, and it's going to take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But it's almost like you're keeping yourself going with this thought of a new start, and the one that you want. And I am really getting like a love vibe here, guys. Like maybe you're doing all this for somebody. Maybe you're working extra hard, or taking more crap. Like it's almost like you're taking a hit in order to get this cycle closed out. You're taking a loss. You're taking the 10 swords to the back. The 10 swords is a little bit of a fall guide card. It really is. It's a fall guide. It's like getting thrown under the bus, or someone really. But the other thing is that, the 10 swords don't just get there all at once. You're looking forward to your freedom. You're looking forward to your freedom, and you're looking forward to I'm honestly getting a partnership here, guys. Like maybe you really do have to wrap up something, and this whatever you're wrapping up is going to make it hard on you. Like they're not going to make it easy. They might humiliate you, or make you work, or really kind of, get their, I'm hearing getting their final digs in is what I'm hearing. But I get the sense like what's keeping you going, because look at this you know, you're still, again, you're taking another bullet and keeping walking and keeping walking. um, you're like a Terminator here. What's keeping you going is that promise of that. It's again, you're like, I'm gonna go deliver these 6 wands, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna set up my 4 wands, right? The other thing I get is with these envelopes being in each, you could very well be talking to, you might be communicating with the person that you want to have. Um, One other thing is that with the 4 of Wands, that is kind of that is twin flame in the way that you kind of read each other's minds, right? Either that or, oh, that's really sweet, guys. I'm sorry. I got that sense where you might be in the middle of the week, you might be really working hard to deal with this, and you might be getting little emails that really strengthen your reserve, and it could be from your counterpart. So if someone's sending you little texts or little messages of encouragement, that's really helping to keep you going. And you might be sending the others in return. The other thing I love about this card is that you see the red ribbon. If you can Google it here on YouTube. There's a mythology around the red ribbon of fate, which means that that's also a divine counterpart kind of connection. No matter where you go or how far away you are, or away dealing with another situation, you're still tied to your beloved. But I do see that this is what's keeping you going. And you have a red string around this guy's head. It's almost like he's, it's what's keeping him going. It's what's motivating you to deal with to finish up this cycle. Or it could very well just be some work dynamics. Again, you're looking forward. The 4 of Wands can also be a plateau. Like, it can be like you working towards that graduation or that promotion, so you can start something new. Now, by the end of the week, this is really beautiful, guys. You got the Empress, and then you got the 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands is another really beautiful card. 3 of Wands really is about leading by example. So what I'm kind of seeing here is that if this does not involve a divine counterpart, like if it doesn't involve another person, this can just be your energy on its own, where you started off the week really kind of emperor, like yang, get it done, and you're going to keep on moving. And then by the end of the week, you're really leading by example. Like, this man is standing, at if you get a chance to check out the How to Tarot on the 3 of Wands, there was we talked about that, about how this person in the 3 of Wands is kind of the person who blazes his own trail, and when he blazes that trail, he shows the others the way. Right? He really is a leader. But what's beautiful about this is that, just like we said, the dreams of this 4 of Wands is what's helping you close out the cycle. By the end of the week, you got 3 of the Wands already set, and you're in Empress energy, which is real nurturing. It's like you start off real assertive, and you had to really kind of go through the thick of it. The middle of the week is going to be kind of like a getting over the hump. You might have to take a few digs from someone, and this dream of the 4 of Wands is what's keeping you going. And then by the end of the week, you actually have 3 of the 4 Wands there. You're just waiting. You're waiting for that 4th wand, right? Now, and if this is your energy on its own, you're going to be feeling real nurturing by the end of the week. It's almost like it's almost like baptism by fire. You actually went through all this toughness, and you're almost there, right? You're waiting for your results. Now, if this is one other way I can read it is that maybe something in the beginning of the week was initiated, some kind of clarity was given to you by your father, and then by the end of the week, you're speaking with your mother. And you're waiting, you could be waiting for news from your mother, which will finish out this cycle. If this does have to do with a house, you might be communicating with your parents, possibly on different days. Um, and by the end of the week, you're talking to your mother, and you're in the position like you're waiting for your ships to come in. You're waiting for this to finally close out, right? And you've done the work at this point. Now, if you are a masculine in this read, if you're masculine, this speaks very, very clearly of you deciding what you want, putting in the work, and then by the end of the week you're talking to that feminine, that your empress, the person that you've been, doing all this work for. You actually are talking with her, and then you and her are on the same page where you're getting ready to get that fourth wand, to have your Four of Wands. I really get the feeling by the end of the week you're going to be in a much more receptive energy. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel good. But don't be afraid by the tens. I do think that you're going to be working really darn hard. You might have a few people or situations that might be trying to take a few chunks out of you. And we always have that. The other thing I kind of see with this card is that, you know how sometimes when you're working hard to get something done and then somebody makes it harder on you? Like, you know what I kind of think of when I see that? I know if you've ever seen any version of Cinderella, well, let's go with the cartoon Disney version. You know how she's cleaning the floors and she's singing as she goes, and then when she looks up, Lucifer the cat has trapped. He ran through the dustbin and he made the floor all dirty again. That's what I kind of get from this. It's almost like someone someone sees you doing the work, and then they're making it harder on you, and it feels like a dig, right? But don't worry, that energy will not last for long. And then by the end of the week, I am getting like Cinderella energy. Like by the end of the week, you're going to be in a prime position. And not only did you do it the honest way, like you did the work, but you're going to be waiting for your ships to come in, and it's like I blaze this trail, right? And then you're just waiting. This is about this energy right here is all reception. It's like, okay, I've earned it. I'm just waiting for that ship to come in, and if this is your energy on your own, you're going to be. The other thing I feel like is by the end of the week you're going to feel real nurturing, right? Real nurturing. And again, if this is you know it's entirely possible that if this is your energy, your masculine, like your husband or spouse or lovey might be kind of having a rough week, and then it's almost like by the weekend you can kind of be there for them and be receptive, and it's all just waiting for the results of your labor at that point, by the end of the week. But I see that as being a really nice weekend. A really nice weekend. I'm getting a strong vibe that you're doing the work and you're being an honest example. You're being an honest example. But I do think that there's going to be a few Lucifer cat ones that are going to be trying to make your job harder, or trying to make an example of you or some shit. Sorry. That's always crappy energy. But karma is a real thing, and it comes back on people threefold. So if someone's being crappy to you, then they're going to have, someone's going to come along and dirty their floor, right? Right. Okay, so your card, you got the Eight of Cups, or the Eight of Hearts, which is the Eight of Cups, which is really talking about walking away from an emotional situation, which really kind of plays into this a little bit. You're walking away from whatever is stagnant or what doesn't serve you. And here it says intuition, and it says the moon. Fanny Price is quiet and insightful, remaining true to her conscience throughout Mansfield Park. And oh wow, I love Fanny Price. She's one of my favorite. Well, all of Austen's heroines, but in that story, oh wow, that's another really good Austen story. If you ever get a chance, there hasn't been a new version of Mansfield Park in a while, but in that movie, the Fanny comes from a working class family, and she goes to stay with her cousins who are wealthy. But there's several times throughout the movie where she's being pressured to try to do things that she knows is not right. And you know, her family's pressuring her to marry this man that she knows is manipulative, and she refuses, and they're like pressuring her to do it. So here you see, with the moon, it says, we all have our best guides within us if only we would listen. And that is, Fanny Price stuck to her intuition. If she knew something was not right, and believe me, they were pressuring her to marry this guy that she shouldn't marry, right? She knows in her heart that she shouldn't marry this guy, and she couldn't explain it. You know, like her family's like, well, why are you resisting? And she's like, I just know it's not the right thing to do, and I'm trusting that. I'm trusting that gut. And her family really did make it kind of hard on her. They were like, okay, if you don't marry this guy, you're going to go back to live in poverty. We're not going to take care of you unless you do what we tell you to do. And she did. She went back and she moved back into, you know, her impoverished childhood home, because she's like, I'm not going to do something that I know to be wrong. And you see with the moon, it talks about that. In Lenormand, the moon talks about following your gut instincts. It's about knowing what you know to be true. And then the moon in the tarot is also like that, but it's like you questioning yourself. Okay, is this the right thing to do? Am I sure? And actually, Fanny Price has a great line in that movie where her sister's like, "Are you sure you're doing the right thing?" And she's like, "Susie, certainty is not a virtue for me." And what she's saying is, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but I feel like it's the right thing, right? So and this being the Eight of Cups, I do wonder if this is like relationship related, like, you know that you want to be with someone, but it's going to cause like a trouble in some area, but it's almost like you have to make the decision and stick with it. And in your Emperor energy, it's like no one questions the Emperor. The Emperor says, this is what we're going to do, that's what you're doing. And it's almost like you're telling the world, okay, this is what's happening. Or, you know, or your Emperor is doing that. And it's I'm getting a sense like there's going to be a little bit of drama in the middle of the week, but it's true of any, especially of any romantic situation. If like if things need to kind of blow up and then settle back down again, the best thing that you can do is make a decision and stick to it, right? If you know that's the right thing to do, you know that you want to be with this person, you declare it, you know, once and loudly and clearly, this is what I'm doing, this is the person I want to be with, deal with it, right? And then follow through, right? Even if it means work, even if people say things or make your life harder for a little while, eventually the haterators will die down, and then you stay honest, you stay true, you do your thing, you do the right thing, stick to your decision, stick to your instinct. You know, walk away from anything that's not moving. And you're going to be, by the weekend, you're going to be in a perfect position for your ships to come in. So, wow, guys, oh my gosh, that was deep. That was deep. And we really are. We've been seeing, that's so funny that I started the reading talking about how I got the 10 of Swords last week, and it's been showing up. And again, there are no bad cards in tarot. As you can see, it's very interpretable the way that it involves the surrounding cards too. But all right, so deck number 3. Oh my gosh, we got the Empress. Okay, I'm just gonna shuffle again. It'll come back out if it needs to, just because I was talking about the previous decks. All right, end of the week. All right, that's still too many cards, guys. All right, I'm sorry. This deck really speaks to me because, again, it's the deck I formally learned tarot on. So when I pick it up, it talks. Okay, beginning of the week for my deck, for my pile number 3s. Okay, so we're gonna go with this one, and this was upside down. Oh my gosh. Okay, middle of the week. End of the week. End of the week. Okay, please clarify the Queen of Swords. Can I get one card? Go to the top. Oh, there's two here. Okay, and then the Three of Cups. Okay, let's go ahead and get one clarifier, please. Ooh, Queen of Diamonds. Oh, wow. I'm just going to get a sip of water here, guys. Sorry, 1 minute. One thing that I didn't mention it in pile 2, but I'll try to remember it. I've seen other readers have timestamps for shuffling and then after shuffling, so I like to pull the cards on camera so you can see it. There are some viewers who really like that because they can see, okay, this isn't, you can actually see that I'm shuffling for you. But then, sometimes you might be a little short on time and you don't want to, wait through all of that. If you think having separate timestamps for before shuffling and then going right into the reading would be helpful, please leave me a comment, and, however you want us to do it, we can do that. I know these readings go a little bit long, but because they're once a week, I really like to give you a thorough reading. I don't like to, cut it short. I like to really give you the full reading experience. But if you think that'll help, let me know. Beginning of the week, wow, guys, you've got kind of 2 majors in the beginning of the week, so you're really kind of going through, what I'm really seeing with this. Sometimes when you see the Queen of Swords in reverse, sometimes that can be a real verbally bitter person, someone who's, like jaded. But what I'm really getting here is I'm getting almost like I'm getting almost like a more of a lax vibe. Like normally in the upright, the Queen of Swords is very sharp. Like she's very mentally on it. Like she's quick, she's witty, she knows what she wants, and she cuts straight to the chase. Here I'm getting almost like a little bit of a mentally like a mental softening of her energy, where I'm getting the sense like you don't know what to do. Like I'm getting indecision from this. And the World is the last card of the major arcana, and the World is really about closing up a cycle. It's a graduation, right? It's a graduation. And the root of this energy is you've got the Sun and you've got the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is really that time out card. It's the R&R card, right? So I don't think this is bad energy at all. What I'm really getting is, again, if you're in the United States, this weekend into the Monday is the 4th of July holiday. A lot of people have the Monday off. It's like a long weekend for the federal day off. Then what I'm kind of getting here is that I'm almost getting like kind of like a graduation vibe. You know how sometimes when you graduate from college or you graduate from school, you kind of think, okay, well, what do I want to do next? I've reached this. I've accomplished this goal. Where do I go next? What I'm really getting is it's almost like this. I'm getting real R&R. I'm getting like a very mentally checked out weekend. I do see the Sun here, so you might be having a lot of fun in the sun. I'm also seeing sunflowers and roses, so you might be in a place. I'm seeing a lot of garden kind of energy. So I do get the sense like maybe over the weekend you're not really you're not thinking about or worrying about anything. Um, the other thing I kind of get is that you kind of feel like something has kind of come to an end and you're really okay with letting it go. Like, I get the strong sense like something has wrapped up, like something has concluded, and you're not giving it much thought as to what you want to do next. Um, I'll go ahead and share with you. It was funny. I've worked all of my life, like from the time I started working when I was 15, and I've rarely ever had like a break in work. Like I'm a little bit of a workaholic in that respect. It's like every single time I quitted, if I've ever changed jobs, which is very infrequently, I always had the next job lined up. It's almost like my last day at the one job is Friday, and then my first day at the new job is Monday. But there was one time and in my life that I was leaving an employer that I really didn't like. It was probably the one employer that I didn't like. All of my other employers were really wonderful. But the one employer that I didn't like, they actually gave me a severance pay. And again, that's very rare for me. I usually don't, worry about that. And what happened was I was job searching for a while. So I did not stay with, it wasn't like that, what I had done in the past where I had the next thing lined up. And it was the one time in my life when I actually had like several months of a gap in between employment. It was actually 6 months, which was really long for me. And it was funny. The other thing is with the world, I kind of think of the universe. You see this lady in the middle. The other thing is these are laurel wreaths, which are really about victory, right? And these are the fixed signs: Leo the lion, Taurus the bull, the water bearer, which is Aquarius, and the eagle. The eagle is the evolved higher octave of Scorpio, right? Eagle can be a scorpionic symbol. Um, but that 6 months was actually like, it was the one and only time in my entire life, and I'm middle aged, so that was a long time. It was probably the only time in my life where I was forced to take a sabbatical. Like I didn't willingly, I never would have willingly done it. It's like the universe did it for me. And it was really, really nice. I had 6 months of actually, not having to work. And again, I've never had that before in my life. And during that 6 months, I went to gardens. I did a lot of things. It was almost like being retired for 6 months, which was really great. The other thing is I took a trip to Canada with my family and saw Niagara Falls. So that's the vibe I'm kind of getting over the weekend. It's almost like you don't, one thing is coming to a close, but you don't have something else lined up yet, and you're fine with that. Like, you're not worried about it, you're not overthinking it, you're in complete vacation R&R brain, right? It's almost like, the other thing I kind of get is that I get the sense like you are normally a very thought-provoked person. Like you're like me, where it's like normally you have everything lined up, all your ducks in a row. You know exactly what you're going to do next. I think you're normally that type of person, but it's almost like you're letting your brain turn off for this weekend. You're not going to worry about what comes next. I honestly get the sense like maybe you are celebrating the weekend like in a kind of vacation way. Maybe you have the following week off or something. I do see that you're going to be spending some time in the sun, and I really get the sense like, again, it's like sabbatical. Like you're not worried. You're not stressing yourself out worrying about what you're going to do next. And the other thing that I love about this energy here, guys, is that when you actually, I always joke, I always say that you know you've had a good vacation when you forget what day it is. And sometimes that takes a few days, right? Like when you first go on vacation, the first 3 days, you're doing laundry or you're running errands, and it's still, you still know what day it is. But then as you get a little further into the vacation, you do actually start to decompress a little bit, right? And you do start lazing around. I'm also getting a lot of, like, I get the feeling like maybe you're laying on a beach somewhere, but I'm seeing a lot of garden energy. I don't know, maybe you're going to some kind of bed and breakfast that has a pretty garden or something. Um, but you are going to be spending some time in the sun. Um, maybe you had the weekend off and you really are just, again, I'm getting like an R&R kind of, like, I'm almost getting like, I'm not going to worry about what I need to do. I'm not going to worry about what comes next today. I'm going to go out and prune my garden. That's what I'm getting. I'm going to go out, I'm going to sleep in, and I'm going to work on my garden, and that's all that's in my world right now. Sleeping and, resting and doing on my garden, right? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. You're really mentally checking out. And I do get the sense like you could be using this time to plan what you're going to do next, but you don't want to do that. Like you're turning your brain off, and again, you're forgetting what day it is. It's the only thing that exists is your sun and your being out in the sun, sleeping. I'm also seeing a hammock here, guys. Maybe you have like a hammock or something out in your yard. You'll be taking some siestas, doing some nap time. Nap time's nice. But by the middle of the week, this is interesting. You've got 3 of Cups, and the root of this energy, you have the King of Cups and the 5 of Cups. I'm just going to pull one more card just to clarify. One more card. Oh, that came quick. All right, that's what I kind of figured. I just wanted to be sure because you've got 2 5s here. But yeah, you know what? I'm getting the feeling like you might be feeling a little bit of conflict with somebody. I am kind of getting like there's someone that in the middle of the week, there's someone that you're real emotionally faithful to. I'll be honest, guys, if you're a feminine, you might be getting over someone. You might be getting over someone. And again, that might kind of explain that lethargy energy. It does kind of explain the Queen of Swords in the reverse, because she can be a little bit of the the single woman card, and she gets a bad reputation for it too. It's amazing how just because someone knows their mind, or just because someone sets boundaries in a relationship, all of a sudden it makes her a cold witch. The moment that a relationship doesn't work out, makes her the cold bitch. But what I'm kind of seeing here is that I get the sense like you might have had some kind of breakup with someone. It could be that this person was emotionally committed to someone else, and you really are still kind of mourning that. The 5 of Wands can be competition. It can mean that you might have had competition for this person. The other way I kind of see it is that maybe you did have some kind of breakup with somebody, and you are still real emotionally faithful to that person. Like you still kind of pine for them. This is definitely kind of like a pining card. But there was a lot of conflict. There was a lot of bickering that went on. The other thing I kind of get is that I do kind of like, I'm getting like a girl posse kind of feel. I'm getting the sense like maybe you're getting away to kind of get out of your head, to get away from a breakup. You might be hanging out with your girlfriends to kind of forget about someone, You see how there's 3 cups here and then there's 3 spilled cups here, So what I'm kind of getting here is sometimes the 5 of Wands can be inner conflict as well. It could be you kind of like you know, and these are 2 5s, so you could really be like, why are you still thinking about this guy? Why are you still worrying about what he's doing? Why are you emotionally faithful to this person? It's almost like you're trying to get over it, right? You're trying to get over it. But I do think that you might be hanging out with your girls to kind of try to forget about somebody. I do also think that you might be kind of romanticizing this person in your mind, and that definitely happens. I don't want that to sound like condescending or anything like that, but that always happens. The moment, it's amazing how when you break up with someone, when it's fresh, when the breakup's fresh, you can remember all the bad things that happened very clearly. But once you've had just a little bit of space and time, then all of a sudden the kind of the what was incompatible in the relationship seems to kind of fade from your memory, and you start to remember more of the lovey-dovey moments. And but what I am kind of getting from this is like it's almost like you're fighting to remember what wasn't right about this situation. And I'll be honest, you might be trying to distract yourself a little bit. Also, your girl posse might be distracting you a little bit. Um, One last way I can see it is if you're not like hanging out with your girls or going out for drinks or something like that. This could be that you could be taking you could still be kind of mourning in the middle of the week. You are going to be kind of looking at a relationship and mourning it a little bit. I think you will still clearly remember what was conflicted about the relationship, but it's almost like you're using because 5 is challenge, right? 5 um, in astrology they always talk about squares. When you have 2 signs that are in opposite like elements, like in my own chart I have a Libra sun and a moon in Cancer, and that's a square. And a lot of times you think, okay, well, if there was friction in a relationship, that must have meant that it was just not meant to be. But what happens is conflict, or squares, that clashing, that is. I read a great book. I think it was Donna Cunningham that said when clashes in both astrology and relationships, they're energizing, right? Because when you think about it, how does a car engine start? When you turn the key in the ignition, that's conflict. That's what's the word I'm looking for? That's what gets the engine started. Is that grind? That square, right? Um, so what I'm seeing here is we've got emotions, where I really get the sense that you're still real emotionally faithful to someone. Either that, or you're fighting the memories of the good times with this person, but you're also remembering what was conflicting or what this person did, that was not perfect. And I feel like you're almost using it as your muse, because this is the muses, right? It's the creative inspiration. So you could be helping other people from your experience. The other thing I get is that maybe you're doing something creative, emotionally creative, um, as a result of this conflict. Like, oh well, this person was a great person and I'm mourning their loss, but remember when they did this, remember when they did that, remember when they looked at that other girl while you were standing right there. It's almost like all of this kind of squaring energy going on within you, because if the King of Cups is your energy, that's a very mature energy. It's almost like you're taking all of the conflict that occurred and you're putting it into a creative outlet. So this could be journaling, but with it being cups, I am almost getting more of a, um, yeah, it's like some kind of emotionally a creative outlet. I am almost getting kind of like a psychology, just because the King of Cups makes for a great psychologist. Like he understands It's almost like, and again, with him being the king, it's almost like you're leading or helping others from your experience, and you're not only helping others like in a creative way from what you experienced, but you're also healing from it. Like you're working out emotions by sharing it with other people, right? So this could be like a YouTube channel. It could be something, who knows, maybe sitting down and painting art, based on how you're feeling. Maybe you journal. um what is it? I know I'm such a Selena Gomez fan, but um, she has these books. I'll try to look up the name of it, but there's these books that you do exercises, and it is like daily journaling. It is like just like writing down your thoughts and feelings. I'm not seeing too much swords here. I'm seeing more cups, but that is definitely exercising your emotions. And that's going to be kind of your vibe in the middle of the week. But I definitely see some kind of creative outlet, because this card definitely talks about the muses, like creative inspiration, right? And if the King of Cups is your energy, then you're in control. You're like you're mastering your emotions, and it's helping you work through a lot. And it's almost got like this creative outlet, this creative expression. And I'll try to post the name of it. There's a name for it. Those it's like exercises that you can do for emotional and mental health. And it's almost like journaling every day about your feelings. The end of the week is really interesting, guys. This is interesting. I'm sorry I said that. You got a lot of cups in the middle of the week. By the end of the week, you got the 7 of Cups. So here we got the 3, the 5, the king's holding the ace. And underneath it, you've got the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, guys, you know what I'm really seeing is that Pentacles is a very grounded energy. It's a practical energy. The other thing I get is like, this is another 3 as well. What's interesting about this 3 is that in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, the 3 of Cups has 3 people. I'm sorry, the 3 of Pentacles has 3 people in it, and here you have one person who's kind of looks like he's chiseling. He looks like he's working on a pillar, right? He looks like he's carving out some kind of foundation. Wow, guys, yeah, I am getting like I'm honestly getting like I'm getting a really strong psychological vibe from this. And I swear, pile 3 has always been, pile 3 kind of feels like my intuitive folks. Like you really are I always get such a psychic vibe, or definitely a new age vibe. I get the sense, because you're not letting your head get the best of you, and you're really in charge of your emotions. By the end of the week and into the weekends, going into Saturday, I get the sense that you are still going to be kind of working through. I do get the feeling like you're in the thick of some kind of emotional evolution, like you're working through something emotionally this week. And by the end of the week, you're still going to feel a little bit lost. Like you might feel a little bit foggy. Um, I would highly suggest checking out the How to Tarot here on my channel for the 7 of Cups, because it really does help kind of clarify. You're just gonna, it's, this is a little bit of what we call the Walter Mitty kind of energy. Like, you know how you have those daydreams where you're like, oh, well, where do I want my life to go? Well, I'll be a famous rock star. And then you imagine yourself touring with a famous band. And then 30 minutes later, you're like, oh, now that never work out. What if I buy a boat and sail around the world? I get the feeling that by the end of the week, it's almost like you're going to be feeling like, I know this is such a crazy old song. Have you ever heard the old 80s song, Lost in Emotions? Oh, that's what I'm kind of feeling. You're going to be feeling a little adrift. You're going to be feeling a little fuzzy. But I do get a strong feeling like you're going to be, with this Three of Pentacles, especially with it being one person who's kind of working. Three of Pentacles is about cooperation and it's about communicating. You might be talking to, you're either talking to a therapist or maybe you're doing practical exercises. Again, I'm getting that like Selena Gomez psychological workbook that she endorses. She does it in real life, so she always talks about it in her self-help videos. Um, and she's very good. She's one of the coolest celebrities. She's one of the most realistic celebrities to talk about like the real world application for mental health. Like the real things that you do every day, because not everyone can afford to see a therapist, but there are exercises and things that you can do to help manage your feelings and work through difficult emotions. And that's what I'm kind of getting here, guys, is I get that you want to ground yourself, because it's like one minute you're feeling a little adrift, right? You're not sure where to go next. You might feel like you have some options, which is great. That's always a good feeling. But what I'm really kind of getting from this is like it's almost like you're trying to ground yourself. The other thing that I kind of get is that if you are working through something, if you are either trying to handle some kind of conflict or conflicting emotions, whether that be relationship related or just you going through something personally, it's almost like again you're just feeling like you're trying to anchor yourself, and I get the feeling like you're trying to anchor yourself with like practical activities. um, and again, there's so many ways when when you feel emotionally upset about something, or if you feel emotionally lost or confused, or just you need that sense of grounding. There's so many things that you can do to help with that. You could go out in nature and actually put your hand in earth or grounding. You can meditate. You can sit outside with nature and try to be still and try to like imagine yourself growing roots into the ground. But here, what I'm kind of seeing is I'm seeing that there's some kind of practical thing that you're doing to help deal with this kind of up and down energy, because you're feeling really up and down. I feel like you don't know where to go next. You might be feeling a little bit lost. You might be feeling a little bit dreamy. um, And the other thing I kind of get is that you might be getting ideas from this from either other helpful people, because this is about communication. So maybe you don't necessarily have a therapist, but maybe you have a family member, a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, or a friend who's like, okay, when you're feeling out of sorts, call me. Um, or what I get from this is, especially with the one person doing the work, it's almost like again you're using practical resources like journaling every day, or reading self-help articles, or meditating, or you're doing physical things to help ground yourself. And you might be communicating with someone about that too. You might have people helping you or kind of coaching you through it, is what I'm kind of getting. And you're doing the work, but you are still going to feel kind of like you're going to feel a little bit lost. And this is beautiful, guys. I was so blown away. This is just such a perfect tie-in, is that you got the Queen of Diamonds, which is the Queen of Pentacles. And this is oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was Marianne Dashwood. This is Emma. So this talks about security. So here we go. Emma is independently wealthy and happy with a comfortable home. Okay. But the story of Emma, and I mentioned this because in another pile we got Mr. Knightley, which is also in the story of Emma. Um, Emma is a little bit, she is a little bit, She's a little bit flighty. Like she's not ditzy, but she's got money, right? Like she's from a affluent family, so she doesn't have to work. But what she likes to do is she in the story she tries to play matchmaker, and that kind of blows up in her face. And there's a few situations where she ends up alienating herself from her best friend and other people around her. But what she does is she does get back on track when she actually kind of checks herself, right? She does check herself. There's this one scene in the movie where she says something really kind of cold to Miss Bates at a garden party. And she was really embarrassed, and Mr. Knightley kind of calls her on that. He's like, that was poorly done, Emma. You shouldn't have done that. And she turns inward, and she makes the situation right. Right? She makes the situation right. Now, that's one way I could kind of read into this if we really wanted to. If you get a chance, there is a new version of Emma that stars Anya Taylor-Joy. If you ever get a chance to check out that movie, that's a great representation of this situation. Or you could even you could go here on YouTube and actually just Google the scene where Emma insults Miss Bates at the garden party. That could be this kind of that could be one way you could kind of read the middle of the week energy. Um, there could be a situation where you're in the presence of other people. Could be there's a lot of cups here. You could have been imbibing a little bit. You might have had more than one glass of wine or something like that, and you might end up saying something to a King of Cups, or the King of Cups might say something to you, and um, it kind of comes off like the wrong way. Like the Three of Cups is, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, they're holding the cups in the air. It's almost kind of like that, you get a little too carried away. Um, and that's what happened to Emma in the story. She got a little too carried away. She got a little too full of herself, and she said something insulting. And then she later, she later did the right thing. She apologized, and she made the situation right, but she learned, right? She learned from the situation. But but yeah, by the end of the week, I do kind of sense I am getting a little bit more of that first scenario with the emotions, and but that is still a good movie to reference for that, because Emma does pull into herself. When she realized that she kind of got too far adrift, like again, she got too full of herself. She went out too far into left field. She got her behavior got out of hand, right? And so this is what I'm kind of seeing. Sometimes when your cups, when they get out of hand, it can leave you feeling lost. You've got to ground yourself again, and what I'm kind of getting from that is, and this being the Queen of Pentacles, it's almost like you're working to ground yourself. You're working to by the end of the week. I do get an overall theme of there's not a whole lot of over analysis. I think this is more of like a dreamy kind of not knowing where to go next, but you're trying to get like an anchor to that. You're trying to get an anchor as to what cup you want to choose, and where you want to go. But one thing that I do see with this is that I will say that by the weekend, you're still working on this. It doesn't look like you're ready to pick a cup yet. You're still a little too lost in your feelings, and that's okay. The other thing I get from this is take your time. There's no rush. There's no rush. It is much better to kind of, to continue to journal and continue to do the work, to figure out what the best choice is for you. That's the other thing about Emma, is that she had choices. Oh, you know what? That's awesome. The Jane Austen Tarot actually has the Seven of Cups of Emma looking at all the men in the different teacups. Oh, that's so funny. I have to show that picture. But she's looking at all her men in the teacups, and deciding which one she wants. So That could be something too, guys. I mean, you might have options. You might have options, but it's almost like you don't want to make you don't want to make a foolish choice. And again, if your Queen of Swords energy is in reverse, it might be a little laissez-faire this week. I don't think you're really serious about making a choice, and it's better to kind of wait and see how you really feel, or work out your feelings before you go forward. But either way, that's wonderful energy. I think you almost get kind of the best of both worlds in that scenario, where you can kind of daydream about your prospects, but you're still able to make a correct decision. But all right, guys. Well, that read went a little bit longer. Again, I'm sorry to ramble. Again, I've been feeling a little under the weather, so I'm trying to keep these more concise. But I thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you feel like timestamps for the shuffling and the card, you know, the jumping right into the card reading would be helpful, please let me know. If you have any other feedback as well, I would really love to know. Please feel free to leave a comment. I do read all of the comments. Sometimes it takes me a day or so to either reply, but I promise you I look at them. I do get a little busy during the week, but I enjoy spending this time with you, and I thank you so much for liking, commenting, visiting my channel. And I hope everyone has a good holiday if you're in the United States, and I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.